What up, what up, what up?
What up? Episode what?
Número dos.
Episode 2. This is exciting now. Because now I feel like we're more comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think it'll go a lot smoother. And I hope it'll go a lot smoother because then I'll have less to edit. So,
That's
yeah.
funny. Today, we're going to kind of do like a little bit of a rant episode.
Yep.
There might be a lot of these in the future. But today, our rant has a topic.
It does.
And we're going to talk about work. More specifically, retail, because that's the only people that want to hire us.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we don't have experience. But how are we going to get experience if you don't hire me? Period.
So, I've worked in retail. I have one retail job, and the other one was in fast food. So, like, but both were like customer service.
Ooh,
So, like,
that's better.
My first job was at a Hardee's, and I kept that job for like over a year and 2 months or something like that. And then the second job was only a couple months over the summer at a Kate Spade store.
Ooh,
But Liz, where'd you work?
I have held a lot of jobs. I'm currently employed at this company, and I've been with them for a couple of years. But besides that company, I worked at Beard Bradley. For
That's
like,
bougie.
Bougie, yeah. And I worked during the holiday season too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I worked at a clothing store. It was a children's place. I've also worked there summer and holiday. And I've worked just like little side jobs with like my mom. And I was a hostess. So those are like my three like actual like I applied for and I got the job. But besides that, you know, I tutor some kids for money, and I used to go help my mom clean gas over the weekend. But my mom never paid me, so I don't consider that a job.
So, out of all the places that you named previously, which was the best experience in terms of like dealing with people?
Yeah, you're so funny.
So none of them?
None of them, no. I gotta tell you guys that the location that had all these three jobs is a beach town, but that specific beach town is known for older population. It's more like a retirement type. Very like a lot of people from a different state, Ohio, comes, or in New York. So it's very like
affluent and white.
Yeah, affluent and white. I feel like specifically where I live, there's like a bubble.
Yeah, there is.
Like it's like what?
You like live in a place that attracts a lot of retirees.
Yes.
And a lot of money that comes with them.
Like let me just say that when my parents first moved there, or here, let me put it in this perspective. When I first moved there was no Walmart in our hometown that we lived at. So we had to go to another hometown, which was 15 minutes away, or across the bridge. But now there's a super Walmart there, and they closed down the Sam's and put it next to the super Walmart.
Yeah.
So if that gives you like, it's a growing destination. Like there's a lot of people that are coming in from different states and stuff, and it's a lot of money's flowing into that location. So yeah, but I would say that my best would be Beard Bradley because just the environment was okay.
Yeah.
Just the work environment was okay, like among the staff.
Yeah.
And like the place itself. Yeah. Like, it was very neat. Like I hated it there, but the place itself was very neat, very organized. Like it wasn't like, if you guys ever work in retail, I think you guys know that some days you're just like overwhelmed by all the things that have to be done. But this place was like, nah. Like, because it was done on time and done right.
Yeah.
I probably would never go back into the restaurant business because it's just a lot.
It is a lot. And I'm the same way.
Yeah. I was a hostess at a small little seafood place. And you had to have a reservation to like not eat in because we do take walk-ins, but like just it's easier for us. We take reservations, I guess. And I had the owner, which was also the executive chef, would dislike it when we turned away customers because we didn't have a table. Mm-hmm. But then they would get upset with us if a reservation had to wait longer because we sat somebody at their table. Yeah. So that was just not good. And it was, again, the location of that is like a very old, not old town, but it's in downtown. Mm-hmm. And it was like a lot of tourists and a lot of older white people would go dine in. And, you just get yelled at because they didn't make a reservation. Yeah. Or because they're waiting too long. Mm-hmm. Because the table isn't ready. And I'm telling you, it's literally a small restaurant. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're going into like an Olive Garden. Mm-hmm. No, you're going into like, I don't know. Like a personal owned small business. Small business, yeah. Essentially. And there was like, it would just be, it was kind of fun, but it was just a lot. And then it was very tight, and just the work environment was too much. Mm-hmm. Also, at that time, I was like underage, so I wasn't supposed to be working the hours that I worked because, again, it was only like a dinner place, so it would only open from 5 to like 9. We were serving or something like that, but we will be there till 11 because I think the last table we could sit at would be at 9:30. But they were like, yeah. Also, I hated that job because I had to wait until everybody left to leave, like every single customer. And again, it's like a wine and dine kind of place, so when some folks get their wine in, they will stay for 2+ hours. Sometimes I literally would not get home until like 1 in the morning. Yeah. But they would stop paying me at 11, which kind of sucked. But another good thing is I got my paycheck every night. Yeah. So I didn't get paid like weekly or anything like that. It's just every shift I worked, I got a paycheck. Yeah. Because it was so small. But yeah, it was cool. Also, another thing is that I enjoy the free food they gave me. Okay. It's really good. So it's just like the environment in that one wasn't it. And then the children's place, when I worked with them, it was a mess. I'm not even gonna lie. Oop. When I worked with them, in the first time I worked with them, because I worked with them multiple times because I'm a college student, so when I come back to school, I don't work, so I'm just like a seasonal employee. I was under this management, and the management there could not handle being a manager for this big multi-dollar corporation. It was nothing was like, the things were not up to date, and the store couldn't look the best it could be because things were not up to date, if that makes sense. Like, it didn't matter how many times I went over it and folded like the graphic t-shirt area, and we didn't have the right layout, so it didn't look good. There was so many stories about that place that I have. Like, the biggest story that I have is I remember that the manager literally left with no other manager or shift leader on staff, like lead on duty or whatever.
I think you told me.
She literally left, yeah.
You did tell me this.
Because she said she worked 80+ hours that week. Or like for the 2 weeks or something. And then my other coworker, who was one of my favorite coworkers, like said, she really just left us. And I was like, yeah, she really just left us. So me and my coworker, well, not specifically me, but my coworker was like tired of it because she's worked there the longest, and she recently found out that she also gets paid less money than everybody else that's worked there. So she was over it. She's like, why don't we just like leave or whatever? Come to find out that the cashier that was like working at the time snitched on us. And then I got confronted the next day. Yeah. They were like, were you guys talking about me? The manager came up to me and she was like, were you guys talking about me? And I was like, yes, we were talking about you, because you literally left us with like no aid. Yeah. What were we supposed to do? Like, we don't have the keys to anything. We don't know how anything is run. And it was just like a big mess. And then tax-free weekend.
Don't talk to me about tax-free weekend.
Hold on, baby. Hold
Stop.
on.
Tax-free weekend is a mess.
It is a mess. She literally took her vacation time and
during
took
tax-free
off
weekend.
Tax-free weekend. I don't think that should be allowed if you're the GM of a store.
Okay,
just put it like that.
For the people that don't understand, some of our listeners know what tax-free weekend is. Tax-free weekend in the state that we live in is over the summer, and it's on.
It's in August.
Yeah, it's on certain products. So, like, some stores, you may go in some stores and everything is tax-free. That's because all their products qualify for a tax-free weekend. Or there's some stores where only some of their products qualify for tax-free. But regardless, shopping during the summer, and we both live in, like, tourist areas. Even though we don't live in the same area. Our hometown isn't the same area, but they're both tourist areas. So, all tourists know is, oh, stuff is tax-free. They're on vacation anyway, so they're looking to spend money anyway. Shopping spikes like an outrageous amount. So working over tax-free weekend, bro, was not it.
It wasn't it. I'm not gonna lie. This year it was okay because of COVID. But last year we had lines over lines, literally wrapping around the store, and I would be like, hey, how are you doing? Because that's my job to be like, you doing okay? Did you find everything okay? And the guy was like, this guy literally told me, you guys are moving slow. Yeah. And I'm like, what do you want us to do? Yeah. There's literally 3 registers going as fast as we can. Like, you don't need to be here. Like, honestly,
if it's a problem, you can go.
Yeah, if it's a problem, you can literally go.
But you can't, again, you can't say that to people. And let's get into this. Let's get into that. The customer is not always right. I don't care what anybody says. The customer is not always right. I can count on both of my hands the amount of times the customer was actually right with me. Actually, on one hand. But most of the time, they're not.
You guys are not right because, let me just say this. Because the things that a coworker is telling you, the manager's going to tell you the exact same thing.
Like, where do you think we get it from? Like,
literally, period. Like, the current job that I work at offers free gifts on people's birthday. And this one just so happens to get stuck in my head because it literally happened. Recently, literally, like, last time I worked. And the lady came up and she's like, I'm here to pick up my free gift. I was told that we ran out of the free gift for that month because, again, if you would read the email or the little slip that you get, it says until quantities last. So I told her we don't have the free gift.
Yeah.
So I told my manager because she kept saying that she wanted her free gift. And my manager was like, you can give her this. And it was another little sample Lancome product. And I was like, I can give you this. And she was like, she literally mocked me. And she said, I thought you didn't have a free gift. Because she was like, didn't you say you didn't have a free gift? And I was like,
don't do that.
Don't do that. Because I can literally get somebody else to help you. Because I will throw hands.
Like, don't do that.
Don't do that. It's so f***ing annoying. Like, I'm literally sitting here telling you because I was told today by that manager we don't have any more gifts. Like, every day I walk in and I'm like, do we have this? Do we have this? Do we have this? Or, like, I get the 411 or whatever you call it. And then, like, by the way, we don't do this, this, and this. Or this coupon is invalid on this, this, and this. Or whatever the case is. And you come over here and you make a scene, hold up the line, and then talk to me like I'm a child.
Period.
And they're going to tell you the exact same thing that I just told you. Point blank period. If we don't have the product, baby, we don't have the product. I'm not trying to keep it away from somebody else, like, hoard it to myself. Because another thing is, with social media and all these new things in the place that I work at, if a product pops off online, everybody comes and buys it. Like, there's this certain brand right now that's like a hair brand, designated for, like, if you have curly texture hair. Literally, we get shipment on Wednesdays at our store. We put it out that same day. If it's gone that same day, it's gone.
Right.
Like, literally, we went over there. Like, the lady went over there and shelf was empty. Okay. Comes over here and she's like, I'm looking for this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay, well, it's over there. Mind you, she didn't tell me that she already went to go check. So I'm like, walking her over and I'm telling her about the product or whatever, and the shelf is empty. And she's like, yeah, I knew the shelf was empty.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, we don't have the product. Because if we had the product, it would be out on the shelf.
Right.
And she was like, can you not check the back? I go to check the back. Again, I know we don't have the product because we barely get any of that product. And plus, right now, it's really a hot topic.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hot product. And I'm like, no, man, we don't have the product.
Mm-hmm. And
then she, like, yells at me as if I'm, like, the manufacturer of that product.
Right.
As if I'm just holding a whole bunch and laughing in the back because I don't want to sell her it. Mm-hmm. I don't care about that product. Not to be that person, but, like, literally, I really don't.
Mm-hmm. So you said yours. Mm-hmm. Let's say mine.
Go ahead.
So working in fast food, when you have your first job in fast food, well, actually, it doesn't really matter where you have your first job at, mm-hmm. because you never know, you never have anything to compare it to. Mm-hmm. So working in fast food for my first job is something that a lot of people do and will end up doing still, because fast food restaurants will hire you young. Yeah. Period. The treatment by customers of fast food workers is what really kills me. Mm-hmm. Like, you ever heard people say, if you're on a date, pay attention to how your date treats someone at a restaurant? That is very true. Because it really gives you insight to how they see another person. And a lot of times, people will view people that work in fast food as less than them. First of all, you don't know me.
True.
I have this job for whatever reason that I have, but that's not the end all be all of my value as a person. So why are you talking to me any kind of how? Mm-hmm. People really do speak to fast food workers as if I am your servant.
Yeah.
No. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
The biggest thing, okay, I think we should, a disclaimer. When we talk about our previous jobs, we're not bashing the brand or the company. We are bashing that experience or that location, mm-hmm. and oftentimes our managers and the customers we've encountered. Mm-hmm. So when I speak on Hardee's, I'm not speaking bad about Hardee's food or the company. I'm speaking about the situation.
Yeah.
So I actually got the job. Me, myself, and two of my best friends in high school got the job together. So one of my best friends got it first, and then she referred me to get it. So I did the application, and then I referred another one of my best friends to get it. But I ended up staying at the job for the longest. Mm-hmm. So my best friend that referred me to the job, she left first. And then the person that I referred to the job left second, and then I left last. And I left for college and strenuous circumstances. But I remember there was one experience. This is customer related and also with a manager whose name I will not say. But basically they were moving slow. I wasn't a cook, but there was like customers in the line. It wasn't even a lot. I think it was like maybe 5-6 customers in the line in front of me. So I was taking this man's order, and he had already ordered, and I took it and I posted his receipt. And so they were making it, but they were moving slow, and we had drive-through orders. Mm-hmm. So he got tired of waiting, and so he comes to me already with an attitude asking for a refund. And I'm like, okay, I'll give him a refund. That's no problem, because I understood why he was upset. But I couldn't unlock the drawer. Like, I couldn't approve his refund because I wasn't a manager. So I needed a manager's number. And the manager that was on the shift, I didn't know her number to put it in. Because a lot of the managers, I had memorized their manager number. So mm-hmm. I didn't have to call on them. I could put it in myself. Mm-hmm. But for her number, I didn't know it. They, like, changed manager numbers. And so I'm telling her, this man needs a refund. Like, hello, and I'm calling her name. And then she cops an attitude with me and yells at me. So I cop an attitude back and yell back in front of the customers. Mm-hmm. I'm pissed off at this point. And I'm normally... Liz, have you ever really seen me pissed?
I don't think I have.
Exactly. Most people haven't. So it was a shock to her. She felt bad. And I walked off. Like, I was like, I'm over it. Mm-hmm. She opened this man's drawer. I gave him his refund. And I walked off. I went to go wash the dishes. Because I was just pissed. Mm-hmm. So it's just like... The teamwork was off. It made the situation worse. And it was like... That wasn't the first time where it was like I was annoyed mm-hmm. by like customers and my coworkers at the same time.
Yeah.
There's another time. This was when I first started working, and it was drive-through lunch. Mm-hmm. And obviously, drive through at lunch in the fast food restaurant, you're busy. So this lady gets there, and she sets her order real fast into the microphone, in the drive-thru microphone. And I hear her in the headset, but she says it real fast, so I kind of have to guess what she ordered to begin with. So I'm like, okay. And so I put her order in, and she gets to the window, and she hands me money, but it's like folded up. And I'm obviously rushing, so I think she hands me a $10 bill. So I put in that she handed me $10, so I give her the change for her $10. But apparently she handed me a $20 bill, so she starts screaming and hollering at me, talking about she's in a rush, talking about I don't know what I'm doing, da-da-da-da-da. And our drive-through window was like motion censored, so I stood in between like two motion sensors to open the window, and if I stood out, the window would close. So I literally stood out the window, let the window close on her, and I like called her manager. I was like, open my door for me so I can give this woman her change so she can get out my face. Like literally get out my face. I hand this woman her change, and she's still talking, and I literally just want to go off, because like, why are you talking to me like this?
Why are you wasting more time?
Why are you wasting more time? Period. And if you're in a rush, and you already see a place has a really long line, what makes you think that we're just going to consider your rush? Like, we're trying to rush too, and so is everybody else. So like, you're not special.
Period. One more time, you're
not special.
Like, I don't care who
Period.
you are.
Oh, there's another time. It wasn't a bad... Okay, let me explain. So there was this guy in the window, and I was in drive-thru again. I had been working for at least a year at this point. And so I was like experienced at that point. And I was taking took his order, we got his food, and he's friendly with some of our other coworkers, so he's chill or whatever. They'll chill with him. They're like talking through the window or whatever. And I handed him his food, and I looked down in like his lap, and he has like a semi-automatic gun. Like, I'm not kidding. Just sitting there, obviously not pointing at me. His hand's not on the trigger or anything. He's not like threatening to me. And I look at it, clearly see this gun sitting in his lap. He looks at me, knows I see the gun, and just moves the gun and hides it. And then looks back at me, smiling. All I did was calmly hand him his food, like smile and nod back at him, and left the window. It was the weirdest experience, because nowhere in that interaction of me seeing him have a gun was I afraid. But that's like how quick stuff could have happened.
Yeah.
So there's a safety issue for fast food workers also.
Crazy.
But yeah. Woo, girl, I got more stories. Okay.
Oh, wow, really?
So if people don't know, if you've never worked in fast food, you obviously wouldn't know this. But drive-through windows in fast foods are on a timer. The timer reflects how fast they took your order to begin with, and then also how fast you received the food. So if you're in a drive-through line and they tell you to pull up, it's because their drive-through time is probably in the red, or they're trying to get their time down. So they're trying to move as many people through the drive-through as they can. And drive-throughs are most of the time, for like more modern fast food restaurants, they're on a sensor. So as soon as you pull up to the microphone, the time starts. Or as soon as you pull up to the first window, if there's two windows, normally it's the first one, the time will start to reflect the speed of delivery. So most fast food places will try to keep their time in the green. But our drive-through time was in the red that day. In the red or in the yellow. So it's getting worse as time goes on. And we didn't have a lot of people coming through the line. So there wasn't a lot of opportunities to make the time better. So my boss at the time, the GM at the time, whose name I will not say, and who is no longer GM, would get in the car and literally drive around the building. She would set off the thing as if like an order, like you were taking her order, but she wouldn't say anything. And then she would drive through the window.
No, she did.
Sit there and then drive around again and again and again. Or if she didn't want to like spend gas and get in her car, a manager would go outside with a trash can, like a big trash can,
they didn't.
And roll it through drive-through to try to get time down, because the time only picks up the sensor, so it doesn't recognize that there's a car person there. It doesn't recognize any of that. It's just time. And so they would do that over and over again. So I remember one time, one of the managers told one of her cooks to go outside and do it, and the cook was her friend or whatever. and a lady comes through. We get a car and drive through, but I don't think the coworker that was trying to finesse the drive through time knew that. So she was driving through drive through kind of fast, not paying attention, and she ends up hitting the car in drive through, and gets out, and the lady that she hit is like pissed, and they're like cursing each other out, da 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 da. But our coworker, is like she can't get caught. Like, because first off, they're not supposed to be doing that in drive-thru anyway. And then she's hit this lady, she's cussed the lady out, and she also had on uniform. I don't think the lady realized that she was actually a worker. So what our coworker does is she parks her car in like the back of the parking lot, and she comes inside, takes her uniform off, takes her apron and stuff off, and like sits in the brake corner and doesn't come out until this customer is gone. The customer is called like state trooper, everything, trying to check the cameras, trying to see, you know, who this person is that hit her. And the whole time she's sitting in the back in the kitchen, hiding. But yeah,
that's crazy.
That happened.
So what happened? Like,
I don't think she ever got caught.
Oh my god.
Like never.
Wow.
I'm not sure if she damaged the woman's car either. But as far as I know, she was never caught. Like, the police came in asking questions, and obviously our GM was already her friend, so she's not gonna snitch. Mm-hmm. So it was like
nothing happened.
Nothing happened. There's nothing on the tapes. There's nothing.
Yeah. Our tapes don't work.
Period. Yeah. But yeah. What else? Oh, tips to get good food in fast food. So here's what I would not recommend. If there's a place that doesn't serve all day breakfast, then they'll switch from breakfast to lunch. During that switch time is a bad place to order breakfast. So like at the very end of breakfast, don't order breakfast, because what you're going to get is like leftover stuff that they're about to throw away anyway. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to cook stuff fresh because they're already putting out lunch food. Yeah. A way to get like fresh fries, a lot of people already know this, but it's to say that you want fries without salt. The reason you say this is because fast food restaurants will already like cook the fries and put them up and automatically put salt on them, mm-hmm. and like dump them in like a heat rack. Yeah. So they're sitting there already, but they're not fresh. But most people don't ask for fries without salt. Mm-hmm. So if you want fresh fries, ask for fries without salt. Be patient, obviously, because I have to cook them separately. And if you still want salt, then just ask for packets of salt. Mm-hmm. But that's a way. There's also a secret menu, I guess. But in the fast food restaurant, on the cash register, we see more than what's on the menu that's displayed. Mm-hmm. So there's stuff that will be offered that we see already, or there's stuff that we used to offer that's not on the menu anymore. But for us, we can still see it and like
try to make it,
click it. Yeah. So technically, secret menus exist at almost all fast food restaurants, but really only the people that work there know that. Let's talk about Kate Spade and retail.
This is where I would chime in again, because we both worked at handbag stores, but okay, my Beer Bradley experience was very short. It was seasonal, and
so was my Kate Spade one.
It was over Christmas break.
Mine was summer break. But
I just want to say this, that it was, again, I don't know if it's every Beer Bradley, but the one that I was worked at was very organized. Uh-huh. So there was nothing to do. It was so slow. It was like, I don't know if it's just all handbag businesses, but it's just like I don't know how to explain it, but I guess if you aren't looking to do that much and work in retail, I would try like a handbag store. Yeah. Because there's only so many times you can like straighten anything up, because everything like is already like, you know, folded a certain way or displayed a certain way. There's only like 3 bags can fit out. Yeah. And it's just like, it was really slow. One thing though is that,
can we explain the different types of stores to them?
What are you talking about?
Because I worked in the outlet store.
I did too. I worked in
But the difference, store. If people aren't aware, outlet stores are outlets for a reason. Mm-hmm. Because the stuff that is in outlet stores, they'll probably notice, is heavily discounted.
It's heavily discounted.
Essentially, everything in the store is on sale.
Okay, so for Vera Bradley, it's their past patterns.
Yes.
Like, it's not the new line. It's not I forgot the actual term that they call it, but it's literally discontinued patterns.
Yeah, it's discontinued stuff. It's past seasons that they're never going to make again. Or it's excess of new stuff.
Yeah.
And also, I need to explain pricing to people. Because I don't think people realize.
I also wanted to say this, that... So if you see something online that... Like, for example, let's say you have a certain pattern or a certain bag and you, like, want to get the matching wallet or something. And you can't find it in store, but you see it online and the price is ridiculous. Let me just tell you, that's a reseller. They do exist. That happens a lot. You'll literally see, like, people come in and buy, like, stacks of, like, a certain pattern or a certain bag or whatever, and they're gonna resell it.
Yeah.
So I would honestly check out an outlet before I, like, purchase anything from, like, an Etsy, eBay, whatever it is, because resellers. Pricing, yes.
So, okay, I don't know about for Vera Bradley. Okay, let me explain something. Vera Bradley, when I worked in Kate Spade, a lot of customers from Vera Bradley would come in. So we attracted a lot of the same market.
Yes.
They attract, like, if you buy Vera Bradley, you'll also like Kate Spade. If you like Kate Spade, you'll like Vera Bradley. It's those type of people. But let me explain something about pricing. So when I say everything in a outlet store is discounted, I truly mean everything. Even if you don't see the percentage off sign. Let me explain that. There were handbags in Kate Spade for, like, the original price was like $300, $400. Because obviously, if anyone is aware of the brand, these aren't cheap handbags. But the price that we offered on the price tag was like 100 something. Customers would see the 100 something and assume that we hadn't taken, that this bag wasn't on sale. But in actuality, it is. They just didn't see the percentage off.
Right.
Versus when you post bags that are under the 70% off sign or the 75% off sign, they associate that with the sale. That leads to problems because although everything is on sale, customers are only buying the stuff that had the percentage off.
Yeah.
And not buying the other bags. Even though those bags were technically on sale.
It's literally the same thing.
It's literally the same thing.
Vera Bradley, I think.
It's all marketing.
Yeah. Like, if you go on the website, you'll literally see, like, a purse, right, for, like, $50, right? We're gonna, at the store, it's gonna be $30, but you're not even paying $30 because you're gonna pay less because there's always some deal. And with pricing, let me just say, with those deals, if it says 70% off and then an additional 20, that does not equal 90.
That is not 90.
Let me tell you.
Here's how you do it. Here's how the math. Look at the price tag. Take the 70% off first. From that amount, take 20% off. That is the price you pay. Do not add 70 and 20 to get 90. That is incorrect. Okay?
Incorrect.
And then let me also explain something. If a bag is 70 and 20 or 75% off, oftentimes you cannot apply an extra coupon on top of those bags because they are already heavily discounted. Okay? Okay. Oh my God.
That
got me so much.
Because literally any sale, it would be like, but you didn't take 90% off. It's not 90, baby. If it was 90, we wouldn't have anything to offer.
Oh my goodness.
And besides that, also, if we're already taking a percentage off, and then, like she said, don't come with a coupon. It's not going to work. We're going to scan the coupon, and then guess what? You're not going to be able to use it because it's already, it's going to say that it's already being used. And then when you try to use it, whatever that poor little innocent cashier tries to scan it, and it's going to pop up like that, you're going to go off.
You are.
And guess what? You're the one that's in the wrong. You never scanned it because whoever told you could do that?
No one.
No one.
No one.
Let me tell you something. Whoever said that, nothing in life is free, okay? So...
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Don't try it.
It happens so often, bro.
Literally so often.
This Kate Spade store, I had a manager. There were multiple managers, but this one manager, again, I will not name her, annoyed my soul, Liz. Like, I cannot. She was nitpicky, and it was to the point where I just wanted to tell her, if you have a vision for this, and I'm doing it, technically I'm completing the task and getting it done efficiently. But if you still think I'm doing it wrong because I'm not doing it your way, then you do it.
Do it yourself.
Period. It was just every day, and it was so annoying. Like, leave me alone. Like, let people work, because it's gonna get done. Just because it's not done in your way doesn't mean it's not getting done. I remember one time she dress coded me, bro.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I was literally about to ask you, let's talk about dress code at work. Because let me tell you.
I had on, at Kate Spade, the biggest thing is no holes in your jeans. You can wear jeans. They can't be like crazy colors or anything, but you can wear jeans. They can't have like rips or anything in them. And you can wear like a nice shirt, like a dress shirt. You can come to work in a dress. I could wear I wore like a off the sleeve shirt, off the shoulder shirt. They were fine with that, whatever. But you couldn't, if you wore patterns, they had to be real basic. Yeah. And you couldn't wear another brand's pattern. For example, this is just an example. I couldn't go to Kate Spade wearing clearly Burberry. Yeah. That pattern. Because it's identifiable and they would know.
Or like, the classic MK shirts.
Yeah, you just couldn't do that. But one time I had on these jeans, no holes in them, plain blue jeans. And at the very end was like a little bit of fray. I still have those jeans. Okay. Plain blue jeans, the very end was a little bit of fray. And I worked behind the register mainly. And the register came up to like my abdomen. So you could not see my pants. Okay. And she walks up to me and whispers in my ear. She was like, something about the manual that they gave me. Because the manual had the dress code in it. And then I was like, I didn't have it on me. And I really didn't remember what it said because it was thick. Like, I didn't read that. Who does? And she was just like, asked me if I read it. And I was like, no. And so she pulls one out of the drawer because they had one on hand. And she flips to the dress code page and is like, talks about the dress code again in my ear. And at the very end, she's like, your pants aren't dress code or whatever.
Dress code appropriate.
And I was just like, okay.
You want me to go home?
You want me to go? I was about to say you want me to go home, but they weren't going to do that because we were short-staffed, heavily short-staffed. So it's not like you could fire me. It's not like you could make me go home because you need me at this point. So you're going to deal with me in my pants today. But that pissed me off. Like, are you, like, what?
And most of the retail places I worked at, it's like business casual, where like they want you to be very plain because they don't want you to clash with the brand, clash with the patterns, whatever. But literally, like, honestly, I'm not going to go out and buy, like, what are they called? Like, slacks or whatever. Yeah. Just to wear for, like, a couple of hours. Like, it's really not an office setting. So, because that's just ridiculous. Because I got dress coded multiple times because at the children's store, I wasn't allowed to wear anything with graphics on it. And I don't own anything that doesn't have a graphic on it. Because literally, like, I literally only own either plain, solid color shirts or shirts with graphics. But their dress code was more relaxed. But still, I got, like, yelled at almost every time because I wore something with a graphic on it. But then I was like, it just doesn't make sense. Also, you're not allowed to wear sneakers. They don't want you to wear sneakers. Which is crazy because you're going to be on your feet. On your feet, literally all the time. Yeah. I remember I actually still have them. I bought Dr. Scholl's shoe inserts because my feet, I could not take it. Yeah. You're literally walking the entire time and they want you to be in like, what are they, flats? Flats. Or something like that because no sneakers. Or if you wear sneakers, they have to be like real nice. Real nice, literally, yeah. Pretty much, like, no, actually, like, it was just like we couldn't wear sneakers. Oh. Yeah. Like if you wore sneakers, it would have to be like those Vans that don't look like, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, the Steve Madden shoes that are like quilted. Because those are the ones that Kate Spade let me wear. Yeah. Yeah. Like it would be like that. Ooh, let me talk about this tax-free weekend. The Kate Spade store I worked at, they now have a new store in the same like area, obviously in the same like outlet area, but it's not that same store. The store that I worked in was the original store that they were moving out of. So it was smaller, like way too small, stockroom way too small. And they were getting a new one. But I left before they could move to the new one. I remember working one time and the AC wasn't working. No. Midsummer, AC was not working. Like the maintenance people couldn't do anything that day. I was so hot in there and we could not
do anything about it. Like, we had to work through that. And customers will always be a customer. And they will always walk in, make comments like, it's hotter in here than it is outside.
Yeah.
I know that. I've been working in here for 6+ hours. You don't know that I'm blistering hot. Like, you don't know that I know that it's blistering hot in here right now. What do you want? Like, what do you want? What can I help you with? But that happened. And then tax-free weekend, we had like those like ropes. So it's like when you can rope off a place. We had that. So the same lady that dress coded me was like, Linda, go outside and start a line. And in my mind, I was like, who? Like, it's so hot outside, who? But we were over capacity in the store, and it's like a fire hazard, essentially. So I was like, I went outside, start a line, and basically tell people, to stop. No one listened. Everyone walked past me. No one cared. And I eventually just gave up and went back inside. But yeah. That's how customers treat you. They don't care.
They really, yeah. So for me, when I work tax-free weekend, because one of the corporations I worked at during the time doesn't do tax-free weekend at all. They don't care. But the children's place, I remember specifically the managers at the time would literally buy us food to keep us there because it was so awful. The first night a girl quit. And then the next day somebody cried because people were just rude. Like, they literally yelled in her face.
Yeah.
And this was before we had those little shields and stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff. And he
before
was
COVID.
Before COVID. And he was he was so angry, he didn't even notice, but he was spitting. And he's spitting on this poor girl's face. Because something was wrong.
Yeah. And
it's just not a vibe at all. The lines were super long. People were really annoying. And the managers literally, I don't want to say it like this, but they literally tell you to just take it. And there's a one point where we're tired of just taking it.
There's be as nice as you can to handle the situation. But sometimes I don't want to be nice.
No, if this girl is yelling at me over and over again about the same shit, let me just say something. I'm gonna yell at her back.
Period.
And it's.
Let's talk about two things. Overnight shifts and profiling. Okay. So in Kate Spade, racial profiling wasn't really a thing. We had a very diverse staff. So racial profiling, luckily, from my experience, wasn't a thing. Sexist profiling did happen. And sexist profiling happens a lot in stores that are targeted toward women. So for loss prevention, one of my managers told me to watch the men that come in the store. And I was like, okay, technically I should watch everyone that comes in the store for loss prevention, but go off. And she was like, the men are in the store for 2 reasons. There's a case-based store, a handbag store, a store marketed toward women. She was like, the men are in the store for 2 reasons. First reason, to find their girlfriend or their wife. And the second reason is to steal. And I was like, oh, okay. What?
Maybe
they're
trying to chill.
But that was just the first instance of how stores will profile people. Now, my personal experience or experience of being with my family, obviously, if listeners don't know, Linda is black. Half of Lily is black. So
let me just say, the whole Lily is
people of color.
People of color. We are minorities.
We are minorities. So I've peeped at times going in stores, especially if I'm in a group of other black people or other people of color, how they'll stare, or even being followed around the store. I remember being in a Forever 21 with my older sister, and this lady was literally following my older sister foot for foot. Could you go away? But yeah, stores will profile you. Racial profiling does happen, but if it's not racial, sometimes sexist profiling happens. But yeah, an overnight store or doing overnight shift. Have you ever done the display? What's it called?
Let me just say, yes, the planograms,
the planning, but it has a name. It's overnight. We did it overnight, but it's display, or it's, oh my god, what is it? Where you get a whole bunch of, basically,
It's like ad resets.
Yes.
Like all that stuff.
If you ever go in the retail store, say you go in the retail store one day, and then you come back the next day or the next week, and you realize everything in the store is different. Basically, somewhere in between, an overnight shift happens.
Yeah. Or early morning shift.
Or early morning. But oftentimes...
It depends on...
It depends, yeah.
How long it's going to take.
Yes.
You know?
And how big the store is and how much they get. So, overnight shift... I worked the overnight shift at K-Spade. My first ever overnight shift. I did not sign up for that but I worked it. I had no break. I went in at 7. I got off at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I've done that before.
It was hell. It was... Basically, K-Spade... What happened is... K-Spade got their fall line. That K-Spade store I worked at got their fall line. Or what they sent them to put out for the fall. Mind you, nothing they put out is brand new. So, the fall line in quotations. So, they took everything down that was like spring, summer, and put up everything that was fall, winter. Over the course of the night.
The night, literally.
And I was in charge of what they take down, they put in clearance. Because now it has to go. I was in charge of repricing literally everything. And if I couldn't find the price, I had to look for it in the system. I was in charge of doing the very front display that you see when people walk in. And then the back, one of the back displays. And then I went in the back in the stock room and had to unstock some other stuff. SLGs, which stands for small leather goods. Doing stock on the floor, like stock on the storeroom floor or whatever. And it took literally hours, and I got no break, and I will never do it again. I literally went home. I went to McDonald's, and they were serving breakfast, and I was like, I'm not. I'm not doing this again at all. And also, at the time, working in K-Spade, I was taking 2 online classes.
Oh, no.
So I was a full-time worker and a part-time student, and I would never do it again. Never ever.
I did that this summer. It sucks.
It sucks. There's no balance.
Let me say that this summer I kind of stepped up in my experience, and I got a position. Literally, it was just handed to me from one day to another, where I became a lead. So I got the store key, and on top of that, I was taking classes. I took 3 summer classes, and by the way, I hated myself because let me say, school ended May 1st.
Yeah.
My summer's classes started May 4th. My birthday is on May 4th.
It is.
What made me think that this was okay?
It's not.
It was not. So I finished, but luckily my class was only a month. And then I finished that class, and then my next class started. And I didn't realize that this class was 8 weeks long. I literally thought it was only going to be a month. And I was like, I hated it. I had this class, and he gave us... It was a really organized class, let me just say that. But it was so much work for the summer class that has nothing to do with my major. And on top of that, I was working in COVID. And then I literally got the lead position because some horrible thing happened to the person that was the lead, because she was, like, I'm not going to get into it because that was just a hot mess.
Yeah.
Her past blew up in her face, and then she was shady. Let's just put it like that. Loss prevention. Oop.
Oh, LP.
So then I got that position, and they expected me to, like, open and close the store. You know? So, like, I would literally get up around, like, 7 and go to this store and open the store up. And... mind you, the hours has changed because of COVID.
Yeah.
It's really slow. And, like, it was just so much. I'm like, why are we here so early? And, like, nothing is happening. And there would be times where I, like, had to turn in my homework late because they didn't understand the concept that things were due at 5 on Friday. So I couldn't work on Fridays, but they wouldn't give me Fridays off. And I literally only asked for 2 days off, and that was Friday and Sunday.
I always had to close, and I had assignments due at midnight that I turned in at literally 11:50.
And I just hated it. It was the worst. Don't do it if you're doing it. I'm low-key doing it now, but, like, it's different, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm taking less hours, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm still working, and I'm still going to school.
Oh, it's a lot, bro.
It is a lot. Lastly, I want to just say to any managers hearing this podcast,
do better.
Do better. Watch yourself.
Please do.
Honestly, I just want to say that I think it's crazy that you guys want us to, like, in a way, take a bullet for everything, you know? Like, I'm sorry, but my life is more important than the corporation and the customer because, you know.
I think if any managers are listening to this, current managers or future, if you're listening to this, let me just say you should be your team's biggest supporter. And that means if you have a customer or something that you clearly see is violating one of your team members, you need to be there for your team member.
Yeah, you need to step up
Not
and tell
that
them to leave.
The customer, they gotta go.
They
yeah.
let me just put it in this perspective. Depending on the company you work at, how do I phrase it? The company is getting money either way.
Yeah. So
their little pocket change that this customer is spending,
you can make it back.
You can make it back, baby.
You'll be alright.
You will be alright.
But yeah. Again, we're only talking about our personal situations.
Our experience, the environment we work in.
Yes.
Like I said, the Rear Bradley was very organized. It was just very slow. Wasn't up to my pace. Literally felt like I had nothing to do. Working at the restaurant just wasn't it because I actually just don't like food service.
Yeah. And
working at the children's place was chaotic. But rewarding at the same time because I grew as a person. And let me just say this, that just be nice to the people that are your cashiers, your servers, or anything like that. I try to do that because I know what it feels like to be on the receiving end. They're just humans. They're trying to do their best. And sometimes we just have bad days. Genuinely. And
yeah. Also, one last ending comment from me. If you go to a fast food restaurant and you get bad food from them, don't go back again still getting bad food and then complain that every time you come there you get bad food. Just stop showing up. Go someplace else. And let that be. Leave for the birds. Okay. But anyway, again, follow us on all our socials, Insta, Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube. We post every Friday. Hopefully we can keep that going. But
send us stories if you have any, because we are really excited to share other people's stories.
Also, send us stories, whatever story you're willing to tell. And if we choose it, we'll let you know. And then if you tune in, you'll hear us tell your story. But yeah, also, happy spooky season! Peace out!